on a whole bunch of mass, sitting on a couple of keys. Ilsha was running through PD. Well, it looks like that PD is a bit overwhelmed. Too many targets to shoot at. Hello and welcome to Spring Arrow Forged Alliance. This is a game between Zock and Luxy, two players who are near the top of the ladder, although I don't believe Lucius played like at all, unless he's a smurf somewhere. But Zock had a couple games in the ladder. Also, it seems like he's been playing a lot more custom 1v1s. And since the last video on this channel got a bunch of views, was Blackheart versus Low. Seems like people enjoyed the top of the line 1v1 action. I think this replay, when I saw it, I knew I had to cast it. So let's see. Zock first land. Usually the build orders. Actually, there are some differences in build orders you can do for this one. I don't believe Zock is doing the standard one. One thing to look for, how many engineers? It looks like infinite engineer build for Zock, who's a Seraphim Luxy. At one point, Luxy was, you could consider him the top player when it was the Immortals, the Imba Cups. He was always quite dominant. I think, him and Zock had a couple of really good games near the finals, but I believe in that era, like 2-3 years ago, Luxy was top of the game, although I think the trip to China and then not playing for a while, Luxy may have slipped. I believe now he's about ladder rank 5, if that means much. Well, Zock is number 1, just ahead of Blackheart. Looks like 3 P-gens before that air factory. And we'll see how quickly the air goes up and how quickly a factory on the ledge goes up. A lot of power spam. Actually, probably for both players. Zock standing around. He's keeping everything a secret. So Luxy will be a little quicker on the air factory. This could be critical actually in these games. At extra 10 seconds on the bomber can really make a difference. Because the bombers move quickly, obviously, the air. And that's the typical unit of choice to do raiding on Syrtis. An A on Syrtis, I think, fairly strong early on with the Aurora. Pretty strong with the Obsidian, good T2PDs, but it extremely strong early Tech 3. And especially against Seraphim, I think the Harvey can hold its own pretty much to any composition. Maybe at very large compositions, Seraphim would get an advantage to have the Tech 3 shields. So finally building on the edge, that's the third factory. See, nearly identical. Then the question becomes, you can see that bomber for Luxy a bit quicker, also a scout. Whatever that means by Zock, he plays without the scroll wheel. Will be some critical kills if he can pull them off. Zock, playing without the scroll wheel, loses an engineer. He's got a couple other really good targets, the expansioneers. The bomber for Zock hanging out, and so far, this is the Luxy I remember where he was very dominant immediately, and I don't know if I agree with the target choice, although it's if you're killing your target, it's good. But I think he had a chance to kill these, but you can see the reason why he did this. He decided to count on his light assault bot. Light assault bot plus a scout. Good combination. It's going to take on the Celine easily as well. Bomber for Zock, meanwhile. 1 kill so far. And in terms of expansioneers, it's nearly identical for the two players. Maybe a slight better situation for Luxy, given that he does have one of these mass extractors. Also an engineer reclaiming. We'll have to keep an eye on reclamation numbers. Good light assault bots from Luxy. So you see Luxy, this is definitely what I remember from the past. Very aggressive both with early Tech 1 raids and early light assault bots, and you can see the combination of those. And here you can try to run circles around the tank with the lab, but it is quite difficult to pull off. I think maybe the Thistle or the Tham. What the hell's a Thistle? I know there's a unit named a Thistle. I may have just imagined that at this point. And yeah, the second wave of expansioneers coming out. Good looking scout from Luxy, although flying over mid is a dangerous game so far. The reclamation numbers 1100 for Luxy, Zock at 1400, slight edge. Plenty of resources for both players. in the bank, and both players still making bombers. Let's actually check out the queues real quick. Absolutely nothing, so Luxy is saving power perhaps. Zock, also nothing, or am I just, or something is weird where I'm not seeing, and maybe just hit the reset. Looks like infinite build, so perhaps something about watching the replay. I'll lose some of the data. 1 kill for that Aurora, and with good kiting. Luxy, very good unit combo, always bringing the spirits. Got to bring the spirit to battle, and I'm not sure how many kills that got, but the second bomb is going to drop. Take out 5 P-gens, and that's what I want to turn down, actually. You can do it somewhere else. Yeah, because some of those explosions killing my ears. Definitely not the best person who's sound. Oh, the latest victory actually for me was finding out an XLR cable I've been using for this microphone was making a lot of noise. That's really kind of sad. Luxy waiting for his tanks to go by instead of shooting. Totally a ridiculous situation there. There's no kills for Luxy's ACU. Zock sees the ACU there. Quickly skirts back, does not need to feed the enemy. 1 kill on this Aurora. Make it a nuisance, and good rating. The rating looks like has continued for Luxy. Let's check out the engineer counts. See, 10 engineers not doing nothing. 27, although I'm skeptical about believing some of these markings in the UI. 27 total versus significantly less. It looks like 21, right? 19, I can't do math. 19. Added the 1 on the wrong side of the decade. That Aurora didn't get any kills, just turned into a nice chunk of mass. Scouts continues to tease Tech 2 flak. Yeah, that's what you do if you fly high enough. You continue to fly over enemy anti-air defenses. Just have them use up money, or actually you're kind of feeding their innovation and engineering, but that's fine. See total PGN numbers so far. You see him here. Zock a little less, and one of the things that Zock used to say, and I don't know if he still believes it, is you want to be at a very slight power stall. So power stall like that's bad, but a power stall where you're like -20, -30, according to Zock at least a long time ago, was pretty good. Of course, this would be a good time to plug one of Zock's lessons. I know I had a lesson about 2-3 hours, and I mean, everything he says is absolutely great. I just think maybe it could have been 15 minutes instead of 3 hours. But, you know, he's a businessman. But definitely useful. And it's nice to hear Zock's opinion about your own game. And when he tells you to do something, you actually feel like that's something that's going to work. It's not just your own dumbass making up the strat. Luxy just hanging out, not making any PDs. A factory. A lot of times when ACUs get here a little too quick, they get put up a PD or a factory just for safety. And actually, total interceptor numbers: 10 for Luxy, Zock at only 2. Zock also catching up on power. Looks like he's put up quite a bit in that Tech 2 land. So, oh yeah, this is not a significant difference. Oh. It's actually not a significant difference. Both players getting Tech 2 land fairly quickly. The placement of the Tech 2 land factories is critical. You want to put it where you won't lose it easily, but you want to put it where it'll produce units close to the battlefield. So you can see it's a little more forward for Luxy. But in a very quick Tech 2 PGen, also placing a T2 PGen right in front of this factory. Imagine eventually it would become Tech 3. So the path of units coming out of the factory is critical. You can see a few potential issues. Actually, it looks like neither player really thinking of that too much. TMD going up, so fear for Luxy. Cruise missile. And nearly 10 minutes in. This is a very long time to get to middle. Looks like either of these players didn't think that it was a very high priority. Nevertheless, they do think it's a priority. And in terms of unit numbers, a slight advantage for Zock. And actually here against Aeon, the Sarah Arctic can absolutely decimate groups of Auroras. Perhaps that's why Luxy decided to get the quick. Ooh, and Luxy wasting time, Zock getting free mass. Luxy also forced to dodge. Tech to engineer in the middle. He's going to put some Tech 2 PDs, and besides getting this reclaim, and Zock just got a huge boost to reclaim. I'm sure he's maxing out. He's now at 9,000 nearly. Luxy only 6,000, so about 3,000 difference. After getting that, you don't want to lose the middle choke point. That's a huge position. You can get radar, cruise missiles. Also, then it allows you to push in multiple directions. A lot of times people win this battle retreat and it becomes an empty spot, but you really want to push through if you have a chance. That's really the reason for this Tech 2 PD, but I think it may have been a little late. And also, let's see, these are Obsidians. As long as they don't see the ACU, they'll be quite good. Looks like Zock leaving open his bottom expansion. And there is an artillery coming in to this direction. To the top, Ilsheva. So Ilsheva versus Obsidian. I think Ilsheva may be a slight advantage as Luxy is forced to retreat. Zock also retreating, decided not to push his luck, which will allow Luxy to give them Tech 2 PDs and will secure at least a defensive position. And yeah, Luxy losing an opportunity. He could have pushed in, created all kinds of problems. But now with these Ilshevas dispatched to play defense, this could be actually a critical mistake. These will retreat and they're not going to get better with age. They're just Tech 1 units. They're past their expiration date. As artillery moves in, also some reclaim left over from that initial battle. Is Luxy going to get an upgrade? I think an upgrade would be nice if you can get it fast enough before dying. Maybe he thinks he cannot afford it. He's got his first Tech 2 P-Gen. Also perhaps a drop coming up. No Harveys on the way yet. Luxy, a couple Obsidians, and yeah, this will just be feeding the ACU until Zock's ACU comes in, and he is getting Tech 2 engineering on his ACU. As yeah, the Ilsheva together with the Seraphim Arty is a very nice combination to have. Total reclamation numbers nearly 1,100. Luxy, maybe a slight catch-up, about 2,500 difference. And now we see Ilsheva's, and he's got a kite on. Yeah, that's the Obsidian. The perfect Tech 2 land to counter to the Ilsheva. Maybe not perfect, but very effective. Nearly identical scores, nearly identical power. Looks like second P-Gen coming up. Pretty big air spam. A lot of engineers in tight quarters. It's another Tech 2 land factory, support factory. And actually the waypoint from these factories is very critical. See there from Zock, the waypoint from Luxy up on the top plateau. That's interesting pattern on the walls. And after winning this battle, a lot of reclamation now won by Luxy. And actually getting map control advantage now. This will be a counterattack by Zock, but might not be enough. And if Luxy can dispatch some engineers to get this mass quickly. Very impressive ecos also from both these players. I guess that's what you gotta have. Or perhaps it's just reclaim. Only 5 Tech 2 Pigeons, so I'll take that back. Not that impressive. Maybe a little more impressive for Zock. 8. So Zock ahead on tech, slightly behind on map control. And now we do have battles on the 2 peripheries. Arty rolling back by the fancy PDs. Engineers need to get in here and get this mass ASAP. This should be easy victory for Zock. You can actually see how Zock has divided up his 2 forces. 3 Arty, 5 Ilshevas. Oh. Switching their own things. 5 Ilshis, 3 Arty, and a couple FAMs. Are they veterans or something? No, they're just cannon fodder. They wanted to come with the Obsidians. They need to be micro. It looks like they have a slight range disadvantage, so they can be kited by the Ilsheva. And you can see here, this Tech 2 radar is a prime target for Luxy. It's pretty expensive, plus it gives nice radar coverage. As we see cruise missiles from Zock. Looks like it's targeting something, but I don't believe it hit. Ooh, this TMD is very close. Oh, there's another one, but it was too far away. So, see how close that was. Tech 2 engineer should be able to rebuild that fairly quick, because we see victory so far for either player, but appears that successful counterattacks are in the workings. That's a nice Aurora sneaking in, being a nuisance. Another group of Ilshavas standing by. More Tech 2 P-Gens. Very slow build on that Tech 2 P-Gen. Now, some people would disagree with that. If you don't want to build it, then just don't build it. Or perhaps that's what Luxy wants to do. He wants to get that close, so when he needs it, he can get it fast. The reason he might want it is for Tech 2, or actually Tech 3. And when you get Harbies, you got to get power, because you do not want to have power stalls in the middle of a Harby fight. And one thing perhaps a bit disappointing so far in this game, the ACUs haven't been used too much. I think either ACU could have been quite powerful. The double gun on Aeon, plus maybe shield later on, as Harbies are coming out. We don't see Tech 3 land yet, but we do see Tech 2 air. And does Luxy know about it? He's got a very beautiful scout here. That's a very good unit. He sees the Tech 2 air. He sees multiple Tech 2 P-Gens. He sees the TMD as there's now a successful push. And actually the Ilshavas in low, when the Harbies are still low numbers, they can do quite a bit of damage. I don't know what it is, 3 versus 1, what kind of micro you gotta have for both players for the Harby to win. But in terms of mass, it's about 360 for the Ilshava, I believe 800 for the Harby. And if the Harby is standing still like that, that's just sad. And a major victory now for Zock up on top, as Luxy's ACU 17 kills. Retreats, sitting on a whole bunch of mass, sitting on a couple of keys. Ilshavas are running through PD. Well, it looks like that PD is a bit overwhelmed. Too many targets to shoot at. It's typically how people beat PDs. Single units in a stream, very bad. A large group just come in. The PD becomes much less effective. Tech 3 land on the way, and looks like the Nothus. So Nothus, but not too much Air Force for Zock. Actually, sorry. Take that back, 43. Looks like 2 Nothus and 43 Inties.
Under attack.
A lot less for Luxy, so Luxy at a significant disadvantage in terms of air, and his ACU is quite exposed. Only 7,000 health. Each Nothus does about 1 damage if it's not dodged. 1,000 damage if it's not dodged. Speedy, thinking about shooting. Harbies to the rescue, but the major losses for Luxy now on top. Really, it came during the Tech 3 land transition for Luxy. It was a bit low on units, and the Ilshavas just rolled through. Luxy's got to have a, first off, Luxy's got to not die, and he's got to have a very good counterattack with the Harbies. He's got to reclaim very quick. And Nothus coming in, that takes out, oh, you can see what that took out. Also great to target. 4 missiles loaded up. Harby could be used to try to target, but the Harby is a bit overwhelmed by the Ilshava. And Nothus is taken out, but TMD was taken out right here. New TMD is being built. Luxy may be mass stalling. Yeah, he is mass stalling, although not too badly. As the problems continue, we do see some Tech 2 transports. Maybe Luxy thinking of an end game. Still 24 kills, just 1 vet. No upgrades on the ACU. A Valiant Harby here in the power stall. He's got to get that shield back, and it will die with no orders. As the number of Nothus continues, and now it's, I think it might already be enough to kill Luxy. He's got no shields in sight. What the heck does he have? He's got a transport right there. He's got absolutely no radar coverage. And yeah, this is not going to be good. Yeah, it was very close. And that's a bit disheartening as Nothus continued to target the TMD. Beautiful piece of bombing from Zock. Luxy targets, but of course that is still alive. Zock really making these cruise missiles hurt. Zock sitting on a whole bunch of mass, no power storage. That's one thing to look at. Where is his ACU? On the front lines, Tech 2. Actually, Mercy Snipe might work over a confused Tech 2 flak, or if it's taken out somehow. Luxy says he asked for chill. I'm not aware. Maybe this is supposed to be a chill game. I think Zock was quite chill early on, just hanging out before he built his air factory. Zock saying that the Harbs, actually Zock is right, the Harbs were the critical point when the Tigers broke free one miserable morning. And a gunship. Yeah, the forward commander was told to sit tight. And he asked that his men be withdrawn. And the generals gave thanks as the other ranks held the enemy tanks back for a while. Yeah, but that was totally devastating so far by Zock. 20 minutes in, you can see because there's a one Tech 2 mass extractor that's still alive. Harbies are lifted directly into enemy territory as the Notha spam continues. Very organized from Zock. You can see where all of his construction is. He can really switch with engineers very quickly. He's either got Tech 3 land, he's got build capacity production, he's got his Tech 1 factory making scouts, Syrtis, and of course the Notha. It also allows you to balance your power perfectly. But it looks like you gotta have other considerations besides perfect power balance if you're involved in battle. Harby's making way. And okay, for a second there I thought Luxy was gonna try to make a comeback, but the Nothas and I made perhaps a Control K. Made sure that never happens. Hopefully people enjoyed this cast. Also let me know what kind of videos people are looking for. I probably don't have the energy for really large games, but I do enjoy these small ones.